I mean, does that matter at all? Does anyone
Right.
want to look a little deeper into the implications of machine consciousness and whether we have a right to arbitrarily destroy it? Nah, who cares when you can watch big guns go boom and mix with preferred pronouns?
I'm sorry, but my pronouns are she and her, not it.
Wow, I did.
You know, something
That that completely, that was so woke that I completely erased that out of my mind when when watching it, because I was just like, did they really just do that? Did they really just do that? And I completely erased that until right now. What's good, everybody? It's Mr. Composition, the MC that writes fiction, back at it with another reaction. We got another Critical Draker Atlas, Everyone Shrugged. Now, if you're new to the channel, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, notification bells on so you don't miss when I drop a new video on the road to 5K. Now, there's several reasons why I reacted to this. One, Critical Draker is hilarious. I think I've reacted to a couple of his other ones. So if you do like this, definitely like, comment, all that. So I know, like, hey, y'all want to keep seeing these. But another reason, if you look through my channel, AI is definitely something that's popped up pretty consistently in the different uses that I use, as well as like what's available. So I thought that this movie was an interesting concept. I saw it on Netflix when it dropped. J Lo was in it. I was all like, okay. And I saw the concept, and I was all like, yeah. Part of me was like, another like human versus AI type of thing. Pretty much kind of guess where it's going. But I would say that I enjoyed it, almost to the point that I would consider watching it again, honestly. And that could be because I haven't watched much movies lately, it could be because it's about stuff that I'm into. I mean, it could have been like a number of things, but it was decent. So I'm curious to see what the critical Draker thought, as well as kind of give my thoughts and review in the midst of it, sort of. So let's go ahead and dive into it.
You know, it's funny how the term Netflix movie has become a kind of byword for cheap, sloppy, derivative crap that was too weak for any legit distributor to take on, usually starring a bunch of washed up actors in need of an easy
Jeez.
payday, with production values that absolutely don't match up with the supposed budget. Case in point, Atlas, a sci-fi action movie starring Jenny from the Block, about a disastrous
Jenny from the
mission to take
block.
down a rogue AI who plans to exterminate the human race. It's exactly the kind of predictable, forgettable content that we've all seen a million times before.
No. Okay, like I would definitely admit there was it is not without its flaws. The washed up actor type of thing. I don't know. I thought that it was a decent. Jennifer Lopez had to play in the movie, and the different things behind that. I wouldn't say that it was horrible, maybe considering her previous effort. And what he says as far as like the Netflix movie and different things like that, would I say that maybe a vast majority, I would say the ones that I decide to click on more times than not have been decent to good. Hasn't been like some super mind blowing stuff. It has been decent to good. Has it been, and decent to good meaning that, I would see it in theater, like to have the experience, different things like that. I'm watching a lot of this stuff from my laptop, so and so I don't know if that's the case for all movies or a majority of the movies. So that might be what he's talking about in that case. And just some of the like some of the like clips that he put in here kind of just made me chuckle, because I'm like, yeah, I mean that was bad. But like I said, the concept as far as the rogue AI, did think it was kind of interesting that the rogue AI is the kind of antagonist of the films were uh people of color. I thought that that was a interesting choice, but but then it'll be like, oh, then they're not that. So, let me just throw that out there, erase that. But what I would say is that it wasn't that bad. Like, it wasn't that bad. Let's just keep
And as a
going.
kind of knowing, tongue-in-cheek parody of the genre, it might actually have worked. But what makes Atlas so charmingly funny is how deadly serious it takes itself. It really thinks it's this piece of groundbreaking science fiction, and probably the start of a lucrative new franchise, which is just so cute. Anyway, the movie's told from the perspective of Atlas Shepard, who joins the likes of Cypher Rage, Mason Storm, John Matrix, and Lincoln Hawk in the characters with names that could only possibly belong to action heroes category. Atlas is a genius computer programmer and artificial intelligence expert with a messy personal life and a problem with authority. I know this not because the movie cleverly reveals it about her through interactions with other characters, visual storytelling in her home, and subtle behavioral clues from the actress playing her, but because the script just straight up tells me who she is. You know, it's always great
That's
when
true.
two characters get together to exchange information that they both already know, purely for the benefit of the audience.
Not a great plan.
Modern
Not a good thing.
screenwriting, everyone. Anyway, Atlas is haunted by the childhood memory of Harlan, an android designed by her mother who turned against his creator, infected all the other androids on Earth, and tried to destroy the human race. Where have I heard this story before? I mean, I guess he wasn't too successful because he only managed to kill like a few million people before getting defeated and storming off in the huff, but whatever. Flash forward 30 years or so, and one of Harlan's sleeper agents is captured while posing as a human on Earth. After interrogating his head, Atlas learns that Harlan fled to a remote planet in the Andromeda Galaxy following his defeat.
Oh, come on!
Wait, what? The Andromeda Galaxy is like 2.5 million light years away from our own. Are you seriously telling me that he was able to get there using near-future technology? How? We've barely
It begins in the year 2042. Okay, that is kind of hilarious. So at the time where it actually takes place, we're talking about 30 years after the introduction and everything like that. Before we get into that, this video is sponsored by me. Hey, if you want to dive into new music, I have a catalog. Yeah, these are not singles, these are albums. But more recently this year, I did release an album called Tame Chaos. So you can listen, stream, download, purchase, all of that in the link in the description. And just, check it out because I want to see if people are actually seeing this and going to the site. So anyways, guys. Well, I mean, the thing is that the AI that was created was so intelligent as far as being able to see certain things on what would happen as far as with humanity and things, which of course is a consistent thing, and why that plot line is, reused and everything like that. But is it far-fetched that he was able to create something like that, being as he's more intelligent than the humans? So yeah, the humans wouldn't be able to create that, but obviously this AI that saw, all this stuff would possibly be able to create something like that. Now, I would say, as far as the humans being able to replicate and go to that planet as well, that's where it kind of falls apart,
It's beyond the space shuttle in the year 2024, and that thing was designed in the fucking 1970s. Nah, whatever. So the plan is for Discount Apone to lead a force of mech warriors to Harlan's base in the Andromeda Galaxy, because that's a thing we can just do now, I guess. Then find him and capture him, because apparently they really want to study his robot brain or something. You realize it's like 30 years out of date, right? I mean, what do you actually expect to learn from it at this point? Atlas reckons that this is all a trap because she's the only character in this movie with an ounce of brains, but Discount Apone is like, nah, it'll be fine. But then, wouldn't you know it, it turns out to not be fine, and the ship gets shot down, most of the soldiers are killed, and for some reason Atlas ends up stranded on the surface inside a mech suit that she's never been trained for and has no idea how to operate. Cue lots of wacky jokes about instruction manuals and language preferences. Oh yeah, and get used to this state of affairs, by the way, because this is how you're going to be spending the next 60 minutes of the movie, watching Jennifer Lopez trying to act while complaining about stuff to Smith, the
When I admit that there was definitely it could have been tightened up for sure. But as far as I think I don't take certain things so seriously. You know, like yes, this is my time being used, and I want to see be it worthwhile. But even if you were to take like honestly, if they were like he said, if this was more of a satire of it, then this might have been the best movie of the year, sort of thing. Like the way that they did Don't Look Up, and it was kind of like this almost satire of like a lot of the different things like that, the doom and gloom, apocalyptic, the earth's gonna, you know, that was executed well, in my opinion. So what he was saying, like if they would have did and it makes me think, like I almost want to create that. If they did a spoof of these particular things, but then had like a really dope storyline, because I thought that the storyline, as far as her reasoning, like there was something within it that I thought was like, okay, this is dope enough to make me follow it all the way through and not hate it at the end, So maybe he might talk about that in this. I don't know.
That's
I
built
don't
into the
know.
mech. Will she learn to put aside her distrust of Smith long enough to foil Harlan's plans and save the human race? Or is this the last ride for Jenny from the block? You know, a movie about a person trapped inside a giant mech suit blowing stuff up and causing all kinds of glorious destruction sounds like a great idea in theory, but like most theories, it tends to fall apart once actual reality sets in. That's really happening, and
Because
really, it's about as exciting as you might expect.
because the thing is that the question that I like that they I think that's what it was. It was asking, there was certain questions that was being asked, like, to where it's just all like, she's just like, you're not real. And he's just all like, well, what is considered real, And he's just like, well, if I'm able to do this, I'm able to do this, and I'm conscious and different things like that, then what makes me not real? And then also just the integration of AI. I think that what this showed, which was maybe different than what I may have seen in other movies that were similar, was a lot of other movies, their purpose and the end of it is to try to stop AI at all costs. Like the human race doesn't need AI. If it gets AI, every single time it's going to turn into this scenario where the AI gets so smart and it looks at everything in the human history that it was fed and decides the best course of action is to exterminate most, if not all, of humanity. So that plot line always happens. But I think where they did different with this was they were trying to be like, look, AI is here. These are the ways that it can be used. And there were certain things that was set up, like where it went wrong was the fact that her mom, which I thought was it, because I was all like, where have I seen her? Where the actress that plays her? I was like, where did I see her? And I was like, she was the evil queen on Once Upon a Time. I was just all like, that's dope. I was actually happy to see her because I was just all like, I got a weird crush on her. She's like this, like, I don't know, unconventional attractiveness. Like, I don't know. Like, even in Once Upon a Time, I was just like, damn, there is something about her that I'm just all like, damn, she is like, damn. But the issue was the fact that she was doing and having the stuff at home where your child who has emotions and feelings that they may not quite understand at the moment, feeling a type of way and doing something that caused massive destruction. I was just all like, why was your child did, because that's what it was, like, because it was that, and also just the fact that that could happen. I think that what a lot of people have to take into consideration is that AI is only going to have access to what it is that it's able to do. Do not give it the capability to do certain things that would harm us. Like, I don't know why that's a thing to not do. But like I said, in the movie, it the whole Neuralink, like that whole aspect, we have some of that going on, of course, Elon Musk and everything like that. Um, and the way that they kind of executed it was cheesy. Like, just because something's cheesy doesn't mean that it's bad, Like, there's some, like, this would be in my list of like cheesy movies that has rewatchable value. And so I'm just all like, that's where they did this interestingly enough. Like it was more so like AI is here. These are the ways that it could be used for everyday life, different things like that. And then there's like the extreme, and with all of these movies that explore this, I think that it probably would be funny to make a movie that makes fun of these, but also has like a dope like plot line to where it's just all like, oh, but if it was a comedy, this probably would make a lot more sense. Like, and they leaned into that aspect. This probably would have been movie.
There's a vague attempt to develop a buddy movie dynamic with Atlas struggling to let go of her prejudice against AI and eventually form an unlikely friendship with Smith, but that kind of thing really depends on strong dialogue and character development, two things which are notably absent from this movie. Visually, it's a strange mashup of barely passable alien landscapes, a few half-decent if pretty lightweight action scenes, and cheap dogshit CGI that looks like leftovers from a mid-2000s sci-fi channel original. I was actually kind of shocked to discover that they spent $100 million on this movie. Like,
Damn.
what the fuck did you actually spend it on? The creator cost $20 million less than this, and it looked amazing by comparison.
I gotta see
also,
that
I'm not
movie.
convinced that the writers actually understand what an AI is, because Harlan and his mates are confined inside physical bodies for the entire movie, which
Pretty
funnily
much.
enough look exactly like regular old humans to save money, with no link to the outside world or to each other. So if they get
There she
destroyed,
is.
that's it, they're just gone, I guess. It's like some weird 1950s idea of what machine intelligence should be like. Also, I love how there's no attempt to address the moral implications of any of this. The fact that intelligent machines were formerly used as slave labor and were literally fighting for the right to exist. I mean, does that matter at all? Does anyone want to look a little deeper into the implications of machine consciousness and whether we have a right to arbitrarily destroy it? Nah, who cares when you can watch big guns go boom and mechs with preferred pronouns?
Sorry, but my pronouns are she and her, not it.
Wow,
Something
that completely, that was so woke that I completely erased that out of my mind when when watching it, because I was just like, did they really just do that? Did they really just do that? And I completely erased that until right now. I thought, now there was several funny parts, like, so this the black robot, him continuing to pop up was probably like the funniest shit, and like his jokes. So that was funny. I was like, there's elements of it that made it to where it was just enough to where I was like, okay, it's decent. But he's right. He's definitely right.
This movie is not going to age well. Speaking of aging well, though, Jennifer Lopez was clearly told a number of very big lies going into this film. Lies like, you're a really good actress. You should
Damn.
definitely be trying to reinvent yourself as an action star in your mid-50s. And this movie is going to be great for your career. I mean, she definitely throws herself into the role with everything she has, playing it dead straight like this is some Shakespearean tragedy instead of a
Dang, her
goofy,
takes are still
low-budget,
nice.
direct-to-streaming sci-fi action movie that will be forgotten as soon as it's released. But even the best actress in the world couldn't make chicken soup out of chicken shits. The movie really goes out of its way to paint Atlas as some eccentric genius, the likes of which humanity has never witnessed, but she makes consistently dumb decisions throughout the film. She
Yeah.
fails to anticipate the obvious trap that's been set for the mission, and she fails to consider the the obvious security risk of going up against someone who's literally scanned their brain and knows every facet of her personality.
Seriously.
Speaking of which, Simu Liu is just as bland and forgettable here as he was in Shang-Chi, a movie that I have to keep reminding myself even got made. But while it's practically expected to be a generic...
Okay. Hey, he's the critical drinker. He's the critical drinker. This is what he gets paid the top guns to do. But Shang-Chi wasn't that bad. But I will say that really the best part of it was Aquafina, whatever her name was. She carried that fucking movie. Like, I got him there, but he wasn't bad. Like, I mean, he's no, like, Ip-Man or, like, you know, Jack and Jared, like, you know, what's his face, Donnie Yen or anything like that. And I think that that's where people gotta understand, you know, and I felt like Jennifer Lopez played this role good because of what the role was. Like, that's what it had to be, you know. Of course, there was things that was just all like, maybe that was the fault on the director, because it seemed like, I feel like there's something here that it could have been great with the right direction. Like, it was almost like this movie was the blueprint or the rough draft of an amazing concept, and it just didn't get given to the correct editor, and then we got this. And I think that's kind of why I kind of feel like it was at least decent, because I think that I'm trying to bring the parts that were decent up to the forefront, or like my perception of what it could have been, and maybe that's kind of like overlaying the reality. I don't know, but hearing him break it down and like tearing apart, I'm just all like, I mean, he's got a point.
milquetoast hero in an MCU movie these days, an antagonist like Harlan demands something more from an actor, and I just don't think Simu has it in him. As a villain, Harlan's about as menacing and intimidating as a teenage J-pop star. Sterling K. Brown, on the other hand, is a good actor, and I really like the guy, which is why it's so disappointing to see him wasting his time in shit like this, a film which asks absolutely nothing from him. Seriously,
That's
that dude
true.
needs to fire his agent,
he...
because anyone who dumps you into The Predator and then
The Predator. I mean, I do admit, like, when I seen him and the kind of role that he got subjected to, I was kind of like the black dude from the first Black Panther. I was kind of like, man, y'all kind of dropped the ball on that, you know. But I could appreciate that. And I think that's more so what it was. Well, what they was trying to do and trying to convey. That's why I'm just all like, I think the critical drinker was spot on as far as saying, like, if this was a parody of the AI films and different things like that, like imagine the Scary Movie franchise, but in regards to like the AI and like action, you know, kind of futuristic dystopia thing. I think I might do something on that. But like if this was more so of making fun of the genre, like how Tropic Thunder kind of did with the war movies, I think that would have hit a lot better. I think that's what it was. They were trying to take it too seriously. And even though I know it's a serious movie, but if they would have switched it and actually made it a comedy, I think that probably would have took off.
Atlas clearly doesn't have your best interests at heart. Ultimately, Atlas's biggest crime is that it's just another forgettable, derivative entry into the list of hopeful but doomed Netflix movies created with high hopes of jumpstarting their own little franchises, only to become just another piece of disposable content playing in the background while people absent-mindedly scroll through their phones. It's not offensively shit in the same way as Rebel Moon, but it is a boring, derivative, and ultimately pointless rehash of stuff that's already been done far better before. And unless you're some kind of massive Jennifer Lopez fan, I can't think of many reasons to recommend it to anyone. So do yourself a favour, save a couple of hours and skip this one. You won't be missing much. Anyway, that's all I've got for today.
Hey,
Go away now.
it's an acquired taste on what it is that you are watching movies and stuff for, because I actually suggested it to a few people who I thought would actually like it, because again, whether it be the AI concept, whether it be, just something, different. I did suggest that. Like I said, it's not the best movie in the world. No, 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 no. And looking at this, the Critical Drakers, review of it, I am now more inspired, to do something that is in regards to what he felt like this movie should have been, which was kind of like making fun of the genre versus trying to make a new entry into it. You know what I mean? So I'm going to get to work on that, because that sounds like a really, really cool concept. And the fact that they got an AI Netflix coming out, I think I'm gonna do a video on that, meaning you're gonna be able to feed it prompts and it's gonna create full-fledged TV shows for you. I think that right now, if there's anything with AI that is going to be pretty apparent, is who has the best imagination, you know stripping away everything. If you were able to go from imagination to it existing, I think that's where we're going to, or where we're headed. So, and like I said, hey, the movie isn't for everybody, but like I said, there was elements of it that I was just saw like as a little cheesy, like the random sci-fi movie to fix that. It's like fast food for sci-fi, basically. If you want, like, it's like McDonald's, basically. If you just saw like, dang man, I need to watch like a sci-fi movie to just get my fix type of thing, that I don't need to be super into, that's kind of like in the background, that just gets my fix done or whatever, that's cheap, quick to make type of, that's what this is. So if you're like a McDonald's fan almost, and like I would equate that to like the McDonald's of sci-fi. So hey, it's not for everybody. I totally there's some points I disagree as far as with the Critical Draker, as far as the actor that played in Shang-Chi. I'm not gonna like, he's not gonna be Dadier. He's not gonna be Jackie Chan, I think that it more so is in the, I don't want to put the blame on the director, but I feel like some of these people can shine in the right type of thing. You know what I mean? So uh, I don't know, but overall, like the Critical Drakers review of it was spot on. What did y'all think? Did y'all see it? But anyways, it's Mr. Composition, the MC that writes fiction. Back at it with another reaction. Make sure to like, subscribe, notification bells on, so you'll miss when I drop a new video on the road to 5K. All right, y'all. Check the description for my music, books, comics, and more. Peace.